Hi, everyone. Dr. Victoria Scarbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. As I promised, I wanted to do a card reading for the new moon in Capricorn. And I just wanted to show you the new moon here. This new moon occurred, I have it erected for Washington, D.C. The new moon actually occurred at 12 a.m., midnight. And when that happens, we know that the sun is going to be very low in the chart. And here we have it in the fourth house. This is like the midnight sun here. And it is conjunct the moon at 24 degrees of Capricorn, conjunct Pluto. Pluto is the energy of transformation, but it's also power. And in Capricorn, it is governmental power. And so there is a shift of power at this time. This new moon is going to be about the letting go of the old reigns of power into a new sort of a new power. Like there's the energy of power moving from one area's hands into another. And you know that what are we struggling with here in the United States is the peaceful transfer of power. The peaceful transfer of power. That's where we're at, right? And in the middle of all of that is Uranus and Mars. And Uranus is squaring Saturn, which is the ruler of the new moon. So we can see that we have, and then also Saturn is squaring Uranus. And the aspect this year is going to be Saturn-Uranus square. There's three of them. First one occurs in February. And they're last quarter crisis and consciousness squares. We're questioning authority. And so we're trying to transfer power from one hand to another in the middle of this awakening around the issue of power and the issue of authority. So it's a very transformational and powerful time, and a very important time for us to focus on what we want to bring into the world, not what we don't. So don't waste your time on fear. Don't waste your time on worrying about this and worrying about that. Focus your intention on what you want to see. If you want to see a peaceful transfer of power, visualize that. Now, some people can actually do stuff to help that. If you happen to work for the FBI, you can do your job and make sure that nothing's going to happen. But for the rest of us who are not in the sort of trenches of that part of it, we can utilize our psychic, our intention, our energy in the direction of what we want to create. And you know, the new moon in Capricorn is about agency and taking control of your life and becoming responsible, more than even taking control, becoming responsible. Because when you realize you're responsible for everything you do and you don't do, you're going to be a little bit more particular about what you do and what you avoid doing. And it's a maturing process. We're maturing. We're growing up. We're putting on our big girl and big boy pants, taking responsibility for ourselves. We can't, you know, my president has to be the one that, otherwise I'm never voting again. Okay, well, don't vote. Uh, we'll vote. That's great. You know, so that's the energy that we have. This chart also, and I know I've looked, this is like the third maybe time that you've had to listen to me talk about this chart, but it's important. There's other things going on. We have a trine between Venus and Uranus. Now this is midnight. This was midnight, so this trine actually I think has already happened today. But there's a flow of energy and an ability to change. Venus in Capricorn is a love of country. It's a love of government. Trining Uranus in Taurus, sort of pushing that need to change in the direction of what's going to help get people's essential needs met. So that energy is also in this new moon. And so we're going to see through this next monthly period We're going to see, I believe, we're going to see a shift in power. Whether it's a peaceful transfer of power is another story. But there's the transfer of power, and then they take their responsibility seriously, and they move in the direction of helping the people that they said they were going to help. Mean it and actually do it, right? As opposed to saying it and then just taking everything for yourself, which is what Trump did. So I just wanted to point that out. And we're going to stop this share and we're going to do some cards. So I'm going to use the Wild Unknown deck because it's pretty wild and unknown these times. It is one of my favorite decks, new decks. Well, relatively new. I've had it, I guess, for maybe 2 years now. 2020 was a year. It's sometimes a year, like it's probably been 2 years because I didn't count 2020. All right, so let's see. So this is the new moon in Capricorn conjunct Pluto. What is it that we need to be aware of? And this is generally for everybody. We'll see what comes up because sometimes it goes in a direction and in a theme, but this applies to everybody. So, becoming authority in your own life. Wherever 24 degrees of Capricorn falls in your chart is where we have a new beginning, and taking responsibility in whatever house that is, whatever house that is. Maybe a little bit more. Doesn't feel like it's quite ready. I'm gonna move a couple of things here. Oops. Had to move my makeup case. I had room to shuffle my. I put makeup on at night when I have to do videos. I don't wear it all day. All right. I want to thank Robin, who made me these beautiful earrings. Said these a while back, but for that beautiful painting. Isn't that beautiful? She's so talented. Thank you, Robin. Hopefully you see it. All right, so let's go. Let's see what's going on. What's going on? Oops. First thing I picked 2 cards. Empress. The Empress. This is the energy of the goddess. This is about fertility. It's about the power of the feminine. It's about creative imagination. The Empress on the Tree of Life sits, let me see, do I have a Tree of Life here? I do. I have somebody's Tree of Life. You don't know who this is and their name's not on it. But the Empress sits right here on the Tree of Life. This is the place of creative imagination, associated, connected to the third eye, connecting Bina, the divine feminine, with Chokmah, the divine masculine. This is the supernal triangle and the Trinity. So this is a powerful place. This is creative imagination, creative visualization, the Empress. Okay, so visualizing what it is you want to create. First card up. The challenge, the healing card, the temperance card. When the temperance card is a challenge, in order to come into our feminine power, and that includes men and women, it's not just about females becoming empowered, it's the feminine side of you becoming empowered, taking on more importance in your life and more respect in your life, okay? As that happens, sometimes you have to walk through trials by fire. And the temperance card is a trial by fire. It's ultimately healing. It is the path of the mystic. It is an opportunity to grow spiritually and connect with your higher self. That's the challenge. The challenge is to stay connected to your higher self. The challenge is to stay in a balanced place. Do not get caught up in extremes. If you get caught up in extremes, you will have a problem this month. So that's what that temperance card as a challenge is showing us. What's at the root? We have the Son of Swords. The Son of Swords In this deck, in the other deck, it's the guy on horseback, like rushing into battle. This is a little less chaotic of a card than that one, but it really has to do with precise action and when to attack, when to go for it, when to act. And the owl does it with wisdom, right? The owl does it with wisdom. The owl also has the ability to look in a 360-degree direction. And so it's important that the energy, that the action comes when you're very aware of all your surroundings. So this is also telling us, be aware of your surroundings. There is going to be a time through this month period, where you're going to have to act on something. Know your surroundings, know the direction you want to go. Use your wisdom to decide how you're going to do it and where you're going to do it and when you're going to do it. And use all your faculties so that you can make that sort of strike. You can strike when you have to strike. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to strike somebody in the head. It could very well be there's a project or an opportunity that you see that's coming along, and you're like, I have to take that opportunity and take an action and get into that energy flow, get into that energy stream, see what's in the past. The Fool. We're in a whole new paradigm, guys. We are in a different paradigm, and we're going to have to learn the rules of this particular road. Remembering that we have the ability to co-create. In the Sky, the Judgment card, the Great Awakening. Darkness is being dispelled by the light. We are all rising up out of the darkness and the density. So this is a huge shift in energy. And we need to stay aligned, the Temperance card. We need to know that at times it's going to feel like we're climbing up the side of a very steep hill, and it's very slow going, but every step that you take needs to be purposeful, with the next step staying in the present moment and taking one step in front of the other, right? One step in front of the other. The Ace of Swords, the action, and every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You see that. Infinity, the snake, that's in the shape of the infinity. Everything goes around, comes around. So the action that you take, hence this action, is going to start a cascade of other actions. And we have to make sure that it's what we want. It's what we want. What do we want? What do we want our life to look like? Those are the actions you take. How it's seen from the outside. This is the 10 of Wands. Like we're in a big mess. Like there's chaos everywhere. But within that chaos, you see there's a light. The light still shines. And so there are obstacles. There are challenges ahead. But if we follow the light, we find the right light. Domestic situation, the Daughter of Wands. The Daughter of Wands. This is the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is about listening to your intuition, right? The Page of Wands has that little red feather in the Rider-Waite deck. Actually, I think I have it right here as an extra card. Right, see the little feather? This is the same card. The Page of Wands. And so this is about listening to your intuition. We have the wand here, and the wand has flowers spurting, coming out. They look like they might be like cherry blossoms, or maybe even roses. I'm not sure. But this is the promise of new life, new growing, new messages coming in, right? Maybe even new ways of living, and maybe living in more harmony with nature. Hopes and fears. Oh, financial. We hope for security, financial security. that the nest we have feathered is going to sustain us. And then, of course, a fear that it may not, right? So that can be somebody's fear as well. See the outcome. Okay, we have the 10 of Pentacles. This is great. This is great. This is prosperity. This is prosperity. So as a Capricorn, as an energy of Capricorn, this is also a time of perhaps starting some sort of entrepreneurial venture, if that's where what you've wanted to do. This is a time to do that. When there's this much chaos and other things going on, this is creativity. This is a perfect time. I mean, it has been an awful 4 years with Donald Trump, but he has stimulated people's creativity. Sometimes it's just to make it to the next day. But you know, he hasn't done it. We do it. He just disrupts, and then we decide what we're going to do with that disruption. How are we going to manage through it? How are we going to work through it? For me, initially, it was facing all the most painful things in my life. Everything he would do, the way he treated children at the border, separating them from their families. I was a child I was an infant separated from my mother. My mother never touched me until I was 48 years old, and she met me for the second time. Right? So, you know, there's that was, you know, the idea of a child who can't, you know, be with the family that loves them in some sort of institution with a bunch of weirdos that they don't know. I mean, you know, that's painful. That was painful for me. The whole Kavanaugh thing was painful. The Me Too stuff, and it never seemed like, it just seemed like the more pain you were in, the more people wanted to stab you with more pain. Like, they're like, oh, you're a snowflake, you're, oh, you're this, you're, oh, you're that, you know, no empathy, nothing. Just like, oh, you're crying, you poor baby, now they're crying, right? I'm not saying you poor baby because I don't want somebody to say it to me, right? All right. Was that the outcome? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's see if we can get a major, the world. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. So, endings and beginnings. And this is also a Saturn card, which is the ruling planet of Capricorn. So, again, this is a time of utilizing our creative imagination, keeping on the straight and narrow, being aware of our environment, knowing when to act, knowing that this is a new world, waking up, taking actions, fully aware that your actions will have consequences, but if they're righteous and they're the right thing to do, it will succeed for you. This is a time when we can have great success as we begin a new world together. So that's what I want to say. I hope you enjoyed that little reading and the maybe third or fourth time I made you look at that chart. Much love. Love you guys. Thank you, Robin, for all your beautiful gifts. Thank you, Ona. You know why I'm saying it. And I'm going to go in the house right now, Ona. And you know what I'm saying, right? All right. Much love, everyone. Namaste.